There was a poll that was conducted and released by CNN that shows that Democrats, they may be in trouble for the midterms because the poll shows that Republicans, they have a slight lead over Democrats. And this is causing mass panic among Democrats because they thought they had a blue wave coming. And here we have a video to show you this poll that was conducted by CNN. Play clip.
Look at this, net favorability. Party ahead at this point, midterm years with the GOP president. In 2018, Dems were up by 12. In 2006 on net favorability, which party you like more? Dems were ahead by 18. Republicans are actually ahead on net favorability at this point by 5 points. So Democrats are just simply put running behind their previous benchmarks, and they need to be running well ahead of them if they want to take back the United States Senate, given that map.
To be clear, both parties are wildly unfavorable right now. However,
Democrats are even more unpopular.
So basically what this is saying right here is that Republicans at this point is favored to win the midterms in 2026. Because if you look back to 2006 and 2018, when there were Republican presidents in office, it showed that in 2006, Democrats that were up by 18 points. And in 2018, Democrats that were up by 12 points. But now in 2026, we're seeing something completely different. Not only that, but another poll was conducted to figure out if Democrats, if they had the right priority, and the results would shock you. Take a look at this clip.
New poll showing that 74% of voters, including a majority of Democrats, think the party doesn't have the right priorities, but the party's leaders are insisting that everything is A-OK.
The bottom line is our caucus and our party is strong and united, and we are fighting very hard.
The American people are rejecting Republican extremism and embracing the fact that Democrats are authentically making clear that we're going to work as hard as we can.
Hakeem Jeffries is claiming that voters, they're rejecting Republicans and their extremism. But the only extremism that we have seen over the past couple of years are basically from Democrats. Because look what they did to Elon Musk and his cars, or people's cars, the Teslas. Look what they did to Charlie Kirk. Look what they did in Minneapolis. Look what they did all across the country. They rioted. They break things. So the only extremism that we're seeing is basically from Democrats. And look what they're doing to the government right now, because over the past couple of weeks, they have shut down the government where people aren't being paid, and the chaos at the airports. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people, they're rejecting Democrats. Continue the clip.
To make life better for the American people.
Just not the American people that have an R in front of their names. All right, but not all Democrats are ignoring the party's glaring issues. 2028 hopeful Rahm Emanuel calling out the left for losing sight of what voters care about.
You are worried about bathroom access and locker room access. Why don't you focus on classroom excellence? You have 50% of our kids not reading at grade level. We lost the plot. We as Democrats nationally, from Latinx to defunding the police to police organizations are all racist, to bringing a set of cultural wars to our schools. We are on the losing side of those cultures.
I never thought I would agree with a Democrat, but I do agree with him right here, because what he's saying is that Democrats, they have the wrong priorities. They're focusing on the wrong things. And here we have an article to show you of a poll that was conducted to show that Democrats are still less popular than Republicans. And the article reads, more Americans view Republicans favorably than Democrats, but among voters who dislike both major parties, one carries a substantial edge as midterms approach, according to a new poll. And the article continues to say, why does this matter? The poll could be a warning for Democrats about how voters view their party ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, when the party hopes to reclaim control of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Historically, the party in the White House loses seats in the midterms, and President Donald Trump's approval rating has slipped over the past year, fueling Democrats' optimism about the midterms. But polls continue showing Democrats are not particularly popular among the electorate, largely due to frustration from their own voters. But that does not guarantee that the Republicans, that they will win the midterms in November, because here we have a snippet of the betting markets that shows that the Democrats, they're still favored to win the Senate because they're sitting around 53%, and the Republicans, they're at 47% chances of winning the Senate or retaining the Senate. And if you look at the House, then it's even a much larger margin, because here we have the Democrats, they're at 85%, and Republicans are at 15%. So these polls, it doesn't guarantee that the Republicans are going to win, but what this shows is that the Democrats, if they become complacent, then there's a possibility that the Republicans, they may win the midterm election. And one of the reasons why I think the Democrats are doing so bad in the polls is because they don't have a leader. Sure, you can make the argument that they're not working for the American people because they shut down the government, their priorities are all messed up, but at the end of the day, they don't have a leader. Here we have John Featherman calling out the Democrat Party for being leaderless. Take a look at this.
Someone asked me, who's the leader of the Democratic Party? I said, oh, that's TDS. That's Trump derangement syndrome. Our party is increasingly defined by the exact opposite of what Trump says. I said that Trump could come out with, for ice cream and lazy Sundays, we as Democrats, we would decide we have to vote that down, and that's a bad thing.
That was a Democrat calling out the party for being leaderless. And it only makes sense because recently the Democrats, they teamed up with an anti-American streamer who hates America to help other Democrats get elected. We're talking about far left Democrats because the party has been shifting more and more left and becoming more and more radicalized. And here we have an article that explains that Democrats team up with far left streamer who once said America deserved 9/11. And here we have Ro Khanna, who's a Democrat, being confronted about this streamer. Take a listen.
I do want to ask you, here we are in the midst of the midterms. You're someone who's been quite outspoken. You have made several appearances on a show hosted by socialist commentator Hassan Piker. Some of your fellow Democrats, though, have raised alarms about his views. Here are two members of a left-leaning think tank. This is how they put it. They wrote, quote, "No left-wing agitator is more influential and extreme than Twitch streamer Hassan Piker. He's referred to ultra-Orthodox Jews as inbred, employed anti-Semitic dog whistles, bloodthirsty, violent pig dog against an anti-Hamas viewer of his stream, compared liberal Zionists to liberal Nazis, and said Hamas is 1,000 times better than the Israeli state." Now, Hassan Piker says some of his comments have been taken out of context, but he largely stands by them. Do you have any regrets about appearing on his show?
None, and I would go again.
That was Congressman Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, and here he was asked about Hassan Piker, who's a far-left streamer who on several occasions said he hates America. And Ro Khanna could not bring himself to condemn this guy or even say, well, you know what, I made a mistake by going on this show. I do not want to affiliate myself with this individual. But this is where the Democrat Party is today. If there's someone that is anti-American, they're comfortable associating themselves with that individual. And here we have a clip of Hassan Piker doing something really bad to his dog and also saying that he hates America. Take a look.
I hate this fucking country so much. You can be on a fucking mountain in the middle of Norway and get better internet than Los Angeles, California. And this is just like a moment of anger. This is a moment of fucking anger for like something that is just so routine, so silly, such a first world problem. But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
So right there, what he did right there, I mean, for one, he's saying that he hates the country. And there are allegations that at this moment he shocked his dog because the dog was wearing a shock collar. And he did this allegedly because he wants the dog to sit right there in the background as a prop. Let us continue the video.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right there because this guy, this is who the Democrats are comfortable associating themselves with. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.